Hi everyone, I'm GREYMOND. Today I wanted to talk to you about in which situations is it important to do on purpose exposures and when it's okay not to do them. So, first, what is an on purpose exposure? On purpose exposure is when you are putting yourself in a situation where you are facing a trigger. Another thing I wanted to say about it too is that what classifies as on purpose exposure, and in terms of like harm OCD themes and those kinds of themes, what is normal and what is appropriate. And the easy answer to this, if everybody else finds it to be normal, so in your immediate surroundings, if your friends find it normal, if your family finds it normal, if they do it but you don't do it, such as again driving type of OCD where you're refusing to drive, so for an exposure you drive, or going into a store or watching a certain show, basically normal situation that everybody else does but you don't do because of OCD, that's an on purpose exposure. So you're not doing anything that other people won't do. You're doing the same things that everybody else is doing, but you are not. And you need to, in my opinion, anyways, you need to do this in types of OCD themes where you don't often get exposed to the trigger, such as, for example, if a very common thing, a person who's afraid of driving, of say hitting somebody while driving, they'll say, "Well, I just don't drive anymore. No problem. I don't have OCD anymore." But now they're limiting themselves, and then obviously OCD spreads to other areas, so that's not a good way to go. So in that situation, they would need to do on purpose driving exposures a few times a day in order to get enough exposures to show to the brain that this thought is no longer relevant, and to practice not reacting with fear. So, or what would be another example? Say, for example, a person is afraid to talk to other people because they're afraid that something bad is going to happen. If I, say if I talk to this person, something bad is going to happen. So they avoid them. So on purpose, they would go and talk to this person. Or I am afraid to go to this specific store, for example, because if I go to this store again, bad things are going to happen. So I'll just avoid it. So in short, anytime you are avoiding something and you find that you are generally okay if you avoid these things, but as soon as you face them, you get really anxious, you need to do on purpose exposures. Another situation would be if you avoid, say, watching the news because the news really triggers you. On purpose exposures. Well, a lot of the times with physical compulsions. With physical compulsions, well, if I just don't go into this room, then I don't need to do compulsions because when I'm in there, I feel like I need to do compulsions. So again, on purpose exposures. When do you not need to do on purpose exposures? When you have OCD, pure type of OCD, meaning pure obsessional, not a lot of physical compulsions, and the thoughts are swirling in your head all the time. Such as example would be if you have OCD thoughts that have to do with morality, where there is not really a lot of triggers, it's just always swirling in your mind. Or it has to do with I feel like I want to do something bad, or I feel like I have done something bad, such as false memory OCD. In this case, I don't really know if you need to do on purpose exposures. I don't really think you do. I mean, it depends on your specific situation, but most of the time in this instance, I don't find that it's necessary because you're already in a trigger all day long. It's just that you're reacting incorrectly, but you are facing triggers all day long. So do you need to do more? I don't really think so. You just need to, like I said, react better. So I hope that kind of explains when, in which situations you do need to do on purpose exposures and in which you don't. The other thing also I wanted to say about it is that generally when people do on purpose exposures, they don't hit them nearly as hard as when it's accidental exposure because they're more prepared. They're prepared for that OCD hit. So when it happens, they're like, okay, I knew this was going to happen. When if it's surprising situation, then it gets you that much more. But even if that's the case, and if you're in a position where you truly know that you do need to do on purpose exposures, but they're just not getting you as much as the accidental situations that you run into, um know that it's still making a difference in the subconscious, where the accidental situations will get you more, but that level of more is still going to be a lot less than if you wouldn't do on purpose exposures, if that makes sense, right? So you still need to do them to up your playing field, basically, when it comes to OCD. So I hope you find my videos helpful. Thank you so much for watching. I will be back tomorrow with another video. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. I do daily videos about all things related to OCD recovery. If you would like to do a recovery program with me, all the information is on youhaveocd.com. You can sign up from there. If you, like I say always, if you do sign up, make sure you're booking the appointments at the same time. You don't have to book all of them, but book as many as you can, just so you have that frequency between sessions that you signed up for. Thank you for watching. I'll see you tomorrow.